Okay, I'm now going to go over a couple examples of the quadratic formula. So you'll need your calculator for these. So please get your calculator, turn your calculator on, and I'll try to show you how we solve by quadratic formula. So the first thing you want to do is identify what A, B, and C are. So in the equation that we're looking at right now, A is equal to 4, B is equal to 9, and C is equal to 5. Okay, so remember quadratic formula. Quadratic formula is minus B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. So one of the things that you want to know when you plug this into your calculator, you can't do plus or minus. So what you'll do is you'll punch your calculator out twice, one with a positive sign and one with a negative sign. And then the other thing that you have to know, when you put it into the calculator, you have to take numerator divided by the denominator. And one other point with your calculator is when you hit the square root sign, a parentheses will automatically come up. So you will have to end that parentheses for the square root and then end the parentheses for the numerator. So I'll show you how all this substitution goes, then I'll show you how to plug it into the calculator. So first off, a minus B says take the opposite of B, plus or minus B squared, and at this point you can do 9 squared, or you can put 81 into the calculator because you know 9 squared is 81, minus 4 times A, which is a 4, times C, which is equal to a 5, all over 2 times A, which is equal to a 4. Now again, we can use our calculator to punch this, but when we do that, we have to put numerator in parentheses and denominator in parentheses, okay, along with an extra set of parentheses for your square root. Okay, so when you're doing these on your notes, I would strongly suggest putting your parentheses in there because that's how you're going to punch it in when you get to your calculator. Now the way my calculator works is I'm going to lose, I believe, the problem when I punch it into the calculator. So get your calculator out and punch with me what you're just seeing. Okay, so first off, we have a numerator, so we'll take the opposite of 9. This time we'll do a plus the square root. And again, here, see where the parentheses comes in. We can do a 9 squared or put an 81, either one. Minus 4. A is also 4. AC. And the parentheses for the square root. And then also end the square root for the numerator. Okay. Divided by what? 2a. So this time you can put in 2 times a, or you can put in 2 times a, which you know is 8, either one, and then you wouldn't have to put the parentheses in. Okay. So one of the answers is a -1. Now to find the second answer, we're going to type this whole thing in, except for instead of a plus, we'll put a minus. So instead of typing this whole thing in again, what we will do is we want to get this equation back. And remember, when we get this equation back, we hit second and then the enter key. And that will give us, that'll give the equation back. So put that in your notes so you know how to get that equation back so you don't have to type in again. What does that look like? I will actually hit the second button and then the enter, and that will get this equation back. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to go up here and change that to a minus. So then we have our answer as a decimal. Again, we could put this as our decimal, or if we change it to a fraction, hit math fraction. And so our two answers, we would record our two answers as what? X equals -1 and x equals -1.25, or again, you might see this as -5/4. Remember what you're seeing here. When you're seeing this, we have a parabola. You might remember that points up. You might remember that we have a y-intercept at 5. What these x-intercepts give you is that we have a x-intercept at -1, and we have an x-intercept at -1.25. Okay, so I would suspect a real skinny parabola that points up. We could verify this if we were graphing, and we could graph this, see the parabola on the graph. That's a way that you can check by graphing. You don't need to do that, but that's always a nice idea when we're on a test or a quiz. Okay, this next example, we will take A, B, and C again. So A, identify as the coefficient of m squared, B is your 5, and C is a -6. So if you know the quadratic formula, you just start plugging in. I will ask that you put your values in and then go to your calculator. So what does that look like? Minus B plus or minus B squared minus 4 times A times C. And this time be careful because you have C as a -6 all over 2 times A. So again, when you go to your calculator, make sure that you put your parentheses on the bottom, your parentheses on the top, and your parentheses inside the square root. Now when you're doing a whole bunch of these, notice that you can just continue to go with your calculator and just reset your values. Okay, what do I mean by that? Let's go to our calculator. So if I've already punched some quadratic equations in, and I have, if you just hit second enter, you'll get those quadratic equations back. Okay, so again, how did I do that? I just hit second and then enter, and the calculator will give me the equation back. Let's change. So we'll change the equation back, and we'll type in, instead of what we had, we'll type in a -5 plus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So one of our answers will be a 1, excuse me. And then when I hit second enter again, this time I'll do my quadratic formula, but instead of minus b plus, we'll do a minus b minus. And the other answer should be a -6. Now that might seem a little nice, okay? Let's remember, so again, our answers are a 1 and a -6. Let's go back and see if we recognize those answers, because we learned first off of how to solve a quadratic. One of the ways we solved a quadratic is to factor. Okay, what did that look like? The factors of -6 that add up to a +5. Oh, what are the factors of -6 that add up to a +5? +6 and a -1. Oh, and isn't that where our answers came from? We set each one of these equal to 0, and we have the same thing. Okay. So I would like you to go to the worksheet now and do the first 10 to see if you can solve the quadratic equation where the answers come out pretty decent.